What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be running you through basically the new reworks and the new champion that's coming into League in a few patches time, hopefully. So this season it most likely should be. The first thing really, just jumping in straight into it, is this new post. So you'll be finding all of these in the description, by the way, if you want to look at them for yourself. But I'm going to try and make this video as quick as possible and just like bam bam bam, so you guys know the information and what you should be expecting for the next few months, I guess, in terms of reworks and stuff. So the first thing, new champion, first thing we've actually ever heard about this pretty much is this shadow on the horizon, which is a part of the champion roadmap for June. Now, not necessarily coming out obviously right now in June, it just means this is where we are at the moment. So it's going to be a new carry champion that is going to perform in the jungle. So this is the first thing, very quickly, new carry champion. It's going to be in the jungle as well. So Ivan was the last champion. He's a bit more of a supporty stuff kind of style of champ. So now we're going to get something a bit more aggressive, a bit more damage focused. Last time they used those words to refer to the Graves rework and also to something like Kha'Zix. So probably thinking more along those kind of lines. But another thing that's really cool is this part. Transformation champion since gnar, the first one. So this is going to be like you're in one state for part of it and then you swap into another state like gnar does. So the mini gnar and the mega gnar. So this is the first thing we actually know about it. It's going to be a jungler. He's going to be a damage jungler, and he's going to, or she, or whatever it is, I guess is I think, is going to have a transform style mechanic. So it's going to be small version, probably, then a big version, or however they want to do it. But they also want to say this take on transformation is going to be unlike any champion we've ever made. So maybe it's not going to be the same small to big or something like that. But one thing that I kind of think may be wrong, I have no idea, this is a complete guess. This looks a lot like a dinosaur's eye to me, or a dragon or something like that, right? Now, obviously that might not be, it could be anything like that. But this kind of screamed to me when I first saw it, dinosaur. So you could have a small dinosaur into a massive one, if that's the kind of line that they want to go. Or maybe we have something where it transforms and he gets like some kind of mount or something like that. Who knows? But this is going to be more details soon, hopefully. And that is the first look we have of the brand new champion. Now, they say there are loads of other reworks as well. If we scroll up this post, this entire thing is about the reworks that are going to come into League. You know that we've had a lot more recently. We've had these updates to like Rek'Sai, to Kindred, Heimerdinger, Aatrox, I guess, ages ago as well. Like all of these stuff has been coming more this season, while we didn't really have that last season. So they made a post about what they want to do with these reworks moving forward, and it gives us a really good idea of what to expect. They're not going to be doing these class updates anymore. So you know how they did like the Assassin rework, they did the Mage rework, the AD Carry rework. Those are gone. They're not going to be doing these massive things anymore where they target like 2 or 3 champions at a time and a lot of different items. It's going to be slow, more often, I guess. Like, well, so it's going to be more often changes, but they're going to be like slower. So it's just going to be 1 at a time, or maybe 2 at a time at tops, right? So if we look down here, you can see we've decided to discontinue large seasonal class updates. So we're not going to have that anymore at all. And we're going to be releasing individually, basically. So it's going to be targeting the problem champions within a class rather than the entire class, if that makes sense. The first one they talk about actually is Aatrox. This is the first thing we've ever heard about. Aatrox getting another mini gameplay rework. He's already had one, really, but that didn't apparently work. So they are going to look at this again, and apparently they're actually revisiting it, and they have like a good direction already. Like it says we're still in early development, but there are also already some promising design directions. And honestly, if they didn't have a good idea of where they're probably going to take him, they wouldn't even be putting in these posts. Like Riot are so closed off with what they give us that you know that if like they're already talking to us about it, even if they're saying it's early stages, it's probably been worked on for a few months already, if that makes sense. The second one is going to be Urgot. So obviously really weird shotgun knees. I guess this is his knee now, and he has a big shotgun at the bottom of it. Not entirely sure, but yeah, so this should be one of the newer, like the more recent ones coming out very soon. And one of the things interesting that they've said this time is they're playing around with him being like a ranged tank, for example, but a Juggernaut. So the Juggernaut rework, if you remember, that was like Darius, Skarner, Garen, and Mordekaiser. I think the 4 of them got this like massive gameplay updates, right? That was when Mord got his Ghost Dragon ultimate thingy. Those are Juggernauts, and now Urgot is going to fit into that category. So pretty tanky, normally good in the lane phase. They have good damage as well, but you don't tend to stack damage on those champions. I guess Mord you kind of do, but they tend to like work really well with 1 or 2 damage items and then into a tank, right? So that's kind of where Urgot is going to fit into, but he's not going to be exactly the same. He's going to be a ranged version of them, and he's going to be doing a lot of damage at the same time, I guess. So still kind of the marksman hybrid into a tank. Now, obviously, Evelyn is going to be one of the other ones. These two are the biggest ones we've talked about, and they're getting like the full massive reworks. It says here we really want them to keep the Evelyn as an assassin, but let her do the assassin job a lot better. So like basically it's going to be on the same kind of scale to Warwick. So if you think about Warwick, he got his visual update. Some of it stayed the same, like he had the suppression ultimate. He still healed a load on his Q. He still like went really fast if he's near somebody who's really low and stuff. So he has the core mechanics there, I guess, but they kind of changed how they work, right? So they introduced them in different ways. That's basically what they want to do with Evelyn as well. So they want to keep her pretty similar. So she'll probably have a Q spam, for example. Her ultimate will be this AoE slow and shield and stuff, but they'll let her do her job as an assassin and a stealthy assassin much better in like the current game. Because these champions are really outdated if you think about it, right? Like compare Evelyn's kit to Zaya or Rakan or whatever. Like she is so basic compared to those new champions. Like the new champs have been like pulling all that stops out and stuff and making them really cool, but these guys don't get left behind, right? Evelyn will be getting a visual update with these as well, so she'll be looking a lot different as well as the gameplay changes. And then one of the other things that they say here, where exactly was it? I can't remember, but they're talking about the LeBlanc update as well as Azir and these Urgot and the Evelyn ones as well. So they have all of these things in the works at the moment, but LeBlanc is one of the ones that we haven't really heard much about at the moment, but she is on the table for a proper rework because they basically kind of admit that they screwed up a little bit and they don't really know what to do with her. So because of that, they're going to put her on the like the visual update kind of mini rework scale of Rek'Sai and Kindred. And I actually think it's in the Yasuo one. So let's go to that one because Yasuo is getting banned all the time, and Riot have said that they don't really like that. They feel really sorry for the Yasuo mains. I don't feel sorry for Yasuo mains, but they do apparently. And what they're going to try and do instead of like just nerfing him is they're going to try and put him into a proper mini rework, a proper like mini update. So here we go. If we want to get him to a state where he's both viable and not a must ban, we need to tweak more the numbers, which is basically means that he is now pretty high on the list of champions we want to look at to get a potential ability update. And that is where they say Rek'Sai, Kindred, Heimerdinger and stuff. This is actually where it says here at LeBlanc and Azir. So these two are already at the very top of this next like mini rework stage, I guess. Azir we're going to go on to in a second, but this is now what? So we have LeBlanc, we have Azir, we have Yasuo, we also have Aatrox, we have the Urgot, and we have the Evelyn and a new champion. So this is 8 new, I hope I can count because I'm not going to redo that. This is like 7 or 8 new reworks and champions basically announced in the space of like, what, a week or something? That's kind of why I wanted to do this video, basically. They haven't actually told us what they really want to do with Yasuo just now, but they have to like admit they want to keep him kind of this swordy like duelist, I guess, who is really agile, can move around the battlefield a lot. So basically like he doesn't want to be ridiculously overpowered or anything like he is now, but he has like the, I guess, giving the opponents more of a window to actually deal with him, which is where we talk about it here, and also having the agile swordmaster experience that he provides. So dashing around the minions, so he's likely to keep his dash, he's likely to keep like tornado and stuff like that, and also having like his ultimate is probably going to stay similar, but it's not going to be as ridiculous spamming wise, and they're probably going to change the way his crit works or the crit scales onto him, because that is one of the biggest issues. But they also say, like, just to kind of make that even more, they say up here as well, if you want to read it for yourself, that they don't want to nerf his numbers right now, because what is the point of doing that if they're going to give him like this ability update, I guess. So for now, Yasuo probably is going to get a pretty decent like ban rate, but he will be quite strong. So if you play Yasuo, you can rest assured you can actually play him and be pretty good with him, but he is going to be banned a lot, and eventually he will get like this mini update, if that makes sense. Last one we're going to look at then is the Azir gameplay update. So this is like the most detail we have at the moment for this, and part of the reason for doing it is because they have 2 options that they're playing around with, and I guess internally they think they're pretty even, but they want to see what people think, and this is quite a common theme actually, like getting feedback from the community at the moment. So there's 2 different options that they're going to go with Azir, and it likely means as well that he will be the first out of all of these reworks and mini updates to come out. So for Aatrox and stuff, like the LeBlanc, the Yasuo, and Azir is probably going to be coming first, which will be pretty good. But basically the goal of the Azir update is to make sure that opponents can have like options when they're playing against him, so they're not just like crowded out of a game. If you think about a good Azir player, he can stay really far away, use his soldiers, and you can't really do very much against him, right? That's basically what they want to take away from that as well. And they want to prevent the preserve his core gameplay pattern of the soldiers. So they want to make him this Birdman that can summon soldiers. They don't want to take that away from him, but they want to make him more manageable for the enemy team, basically, because he's a bit too overpowered and oppressive, I guess, when you're playing against a really good one. So number one, they might actually reduce the command range of his soldiers, so he can't send them out as far. This will be like a bit more of a dangerous type of like play style, I guess. Like if you actually want to do damage, you have to be a bit closer. A lot of these champions at the moment, like Azir is really good as up close because he can use his E and he can use ultimate to disengage, but he also is really good from far away, right? So he's kind of like this pokey champion, but if they reduce the range, then it means that he's just going to be more manageable anyway, because it will be a lot easier to actually get on top of him and kill him when you have like any lockdown or anything like that. The second option though is going to be actually keeping the range at the moment like how it is, so quite high, but they'll reduce the mobility. So his E, his ultimate and stuff, those are the things that are going to get nerfed instead of the range. It will make him more of like a glass cannon style play, I guess. Like, so if you actually get on top of him, he can, I guess, like just kill him instantly. Whereas like on the first one, he's going to have the mobility, but it'd be easier to get on top of him because he has a shorter range, right? So either shorter range, but he can kind of move around a bit more, or really long range, but if anybody gets close, you're pretty much dead. So it's like that kind of weird theory where like the second one makes him a massive poke champion like a Xerath or a Lux, where if you get on top of them, you can kill them. But the first one is much more about like having a bit of everything, if that makes sense, right? So I mean, if you have a look at this, honestly, shorter by roughly 15% is what we're likely to aim for. I don't think 15% on an Azir is really going to like screw him entirely over, you know what I mean? Like obviously the mobility is going to be pretty much the same. It might mean that he needs more on-demand survivability apparently, so making him like even harder to kill, but just shorter range so you can actually get onto him and stuff. It's going to be weird though for that. Like I don't think a 15% reduction in range is going to yeah, make that much of a difference. And this one is really scary actually as well. It means that soldiers would last longer than they currently do if he gets less mobility, because obviously he needs to stay away, like further away, because he can't actually escape afterwards. So this means he wouldn't be able to drift or dash to his soldiers, as we said. It means that he is going to be a backliner, and this one means that he actually has like, I don't know, that his kit will change a lot more if he's like this, because at the moment his whole kit revolves around the poke style, right? If you take that away, he needs to have something else, otherwise nobody's going to play him anyway. So we either have the glass cannon version of what we have right now, where he can't really move around, he can't insect people, but he does more damage, or we're going to have this where he's like more of a pain in the arse mage, like an Aurelian Soul, right? He doesn't do the most amount of damage, but he's really good at zoning and he's really good at surviving as well. So that's probably like the two different directions that we have for the Azir. This video lasted way too long. I'm really sorry about that. I did not want to do that. I just kind of rambled, so I apologize about that. But basically, class updates are gone. We have now individual champion reworks and updates rather than the class ones. So we have those instead. We're going to have Rek'Sai's already been. We're going to have Aatrox, Urgot, Evelyn. We have a new champion as well. We're going to have Yasuo. We're going to have Azir. And we're going to have Leblanc. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll put a TLDR down below because I apologize, I've rambled way too long. But thank you very much for watching the video, guys. And I'll catch you in tomorrow's video.